If you're one of those YouTube creators who has embraced long-form content on the platform and has been a little bit slow to embrace short-term content, shorts, well, you got to stop ignoring shorts. They are a big part of any creator's growth strategy now on the platform. And today we're going to talk about all the recent changes that have been happening to YouTube Shorts, what they mean for us as creators on this platform as we continue to grow our audience and grow our business on YouTube. That and way more is coming up here on this episode.
Hey, welcome to the Video Creators Podcast presented by vidIQ. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your YouTube channel for not nearly enough growth? Yep, we get it. We are here today to help you change that.
Hello, creators. How are you? It's great to see you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode. Every week, we just want to help you grow your YouTube channel, grow your business around it so you can reach more people and change their lives. And we want to do that here today, starting with changing your life and giving you the information you need to really grow the business that changes your life and other people's. And today, that's going to focus on YouTube Shorts. I'm joined by two of the YouTube strategists on our team here at Video Creators. We got Ingrid from North Carolina. Hi, Ingrid.
Hello. How you doing?
And I'm doing better than I deserve, as Dave Ramsey would say.
Nice.
Always better than I deserve. Yep.
Nice.
That's one of his promo branding rituals and creeds.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Sam from Florida. Hey, man.
Howdy. How's it going?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Howdy.
Speaking of promo branding, I'm trying to get my howdies in.
Exactly.
Howdy.
Yeah. Howdy.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation today, especially to learn from both of you, Ingrid and Sam. I know both of you do a lot with shorts with our clients here at Video Creators, and I know it's becoming a very important part of the strategy that you guys put together for these creators. So you do this stuff way more than I do, and I'm looking forward to learning from you here about how to best use shorts as our strategy. But before we dive into that, I think we have David Eden Singwell. This guy left us a voice message, which any of you can do at any time. Go speakpipe.com/video creators or link down in the show notes. But he left us a voice message sharing some ideas and tips on several things that he's done to further deepen the relationship around his content that revolves around Apple products. And so here's David's message.
Hey, Tim and company. I wanted to just join in with what you were talking about with building a community. So I started my tech YouTube channel, mainly focusing on Apple stuff. Sorry, Ingrid. During the lockdown, and the kind of keys to my growth, I think at the beginning, we're on about 11,500 subscribers at this point, was that we focused on the community side of things. So we included iCave Answers, which is where I answer viewer questions on pretty much every show. We started doing a notification squad, so basically anyone that clicked that notification icon got a shout out in the next video, and got them to comment down in the comment section so that I knew that they'd done that. And also the community in general used to rally around when I was able to do daily shows. We did premieres every single day at a specific time, so we'd all chat in the comments and in the live chat, and it made it just a really good community thing. Hopefully this helps you guys. This is iCave Dave signing off.
Thank you, David. I totally resonate with the sorry Ingrid part.
There may or may not have been some Apple PC jokes before we hit record.
Well, for those of you who don't know, it used to be all of us at Video Creators were Mac people until Ingrid came, and then she was a PC user. But I think as we're getting closer to 50-50 as the team keeps growing, I think we tend to hire PC people now, which is fine. It's good, kind of, It's just a friendly internal feud. If anything goes wrong with Ingrid's computer, it's because she's on a PC.
Apparently not so internal anymore if we have SpeakPipe messages.
That's right. That's true. David, I like how you pay attention.
The audience is weighing in.
Yes.
But I liked his tips there for growing and getting people engaged. I think that's something that was probably a bigger emphasis like in the earlier days of YouTube. because that was like kind of the point of why you would make content, was to form community and get to know other people. And that's still a big benefit to it today, but it seems like the emphasis has since shifted more towards business and money and just like massive viewership and things, more so than emphasis on the community side. So I like that he brings that up again and reminds us that, hey guys, all that stuff is great. It's good, but these are real people. Like every view count, every viewer on a video represents an actual person who's giving you some time of their life and giving you an opportunity to speak into it. So I think it's a good reminder. And if any of you would like to submit your own YouTube tips or idea or advice or anything you've experienced as part of your journey as a creator, we'd love to hear it. Go to speakpipe.com/video creators, or again, link down in the show notes. You can go check it out. And or questions. We used to do Q&A episodes. We haven't done those for a while. So let's plan on another Q&A episode. You got questions that we can help you answer about what you're working on YouTube. Also, speakpipe.com/video creators, and leave us a quick voice message, and we'd love to include it here and have a whole episode just answering your questions. So speakpipe.com/video creators. I said that enough for it. Now I think people think it's sponsored, but it's not. When it comes to shorts, there's a few big things to talk about here today. We've got the money conversation, which is what does ad revenue now look like on shorts and how people make money. We've got a conversation about how discoverability works and the algorithms and the algorithm for shorts versus longs, and then content strategy around shorts. So we've got a lot of ground here to cover. Let's start with money. Ingrid, shorts are now monetized. That's a relatively recent thing. It didn't used to be that way. What does monetization look like for shorts now?
Well, monetization looks a little different on shorts than it does on traditional videos. On traditional videos, YouTube's able to surface ads directly on the videos. So it's very easy to attribute, that particular ad revenue to a particular creator. It's not the same in shorts because ads are going to be in the feed in between videos. So instead, no video is directly associated with an ad. So they're going to actually pool the revenue in between the creators that are around that actual ad. And because they are using a lot more trending music, along with other creator tools as well, the split is not going to be exactly the same as it is for traditional long form content. So with long form content, the creator gets, up to 55% of the split, but with short form, it's going to be 45% split because of that. So those are the biggest changes. Now, there are a lot more specific details, and without getting into the super nitty gritty, we're going to link some very good videos that give you all the details directly from YouTube on what that looks like in the description below as well.
Cool. Yeah. So the old format, or the current format for longs, is if you have ads on your content, then you get some revenue, especially if people engage with that content. But this is different. Where it's just like, hey, if you make a short, you're just in a big line of other people who have created shorts as well. And all the marketing, all the advertising money that comes in from other marketers and companies, we're going to first pay out the copyright fees for music. That comes right off the top. And then once all that's paid off, then whatever's left gets split between YouTube and then the creator based on how many views they contributed to the overall pool of YouTube shorts views for that date period, the date range. Right. So It is pretty different. So it's the question is, how much is a view going to be worth, and how much money can you really make here? And let me say it this way. From my experience with these types of programs in the past, it usually starts off pretty minuscule and then grows from there, just like YouTube did, just like most of these things do. It takes a while for advertisers and marketers to kind of figure out how to best use it and to get funds allocated and to start creating processes and systems that allow them to even make these new ad formats also, and then test the effectiveness and all. It just takes a little while for all that stuff to catch up. So,
well, I know that, when you think about it and think of how far shorts go, because we've had some clients that have hit 100 million views.
150 million.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
even more, I mean, we had a creator of ours just get 5 million on a view just last week.
On a short?
So, on a short. Yeah. Yes. And you sit there and you think about ad revenue, it's like, oh, okay, this is great. But no, not necessarily. It's going to take time. And the thing that you have to realize is at first they had the Shorts Fund, right? And a lot of other platforms, they're now rolling out their funds. But the problem with the fund is they're capped at a certain point. Yeah. And the more creators that go into the ecosystem, the smaller the portion is available. The thing that's cool about YouTube being the trendsetter here and creating an actual ad revenue sharing system is this system is limitless. And
it's limited by the amount of money coming into the top of the funnel from advertisers, right?
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, I'm looking long term here. So as advertisers
potential to grow, you mean? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Because, we need to have viewers, creators, and advertisers all aligned, right? And the more comfortable, like you said just a few minutes ago, advertisers get, the whole system's going to grow, just like I'm sure, the system did years ago. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I would expect there to still be a lot of information about this to be developed and to just really kind of watch it over time. But I feel like YouTube's headed in the right direction, a very smart direction.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. It almost makes me wonder if this may encourage more like purely shorts creators, like purely shorts YouTube creators just moving forward, and, how that might affect advertisers as well, just as it continues to grow and we just kind of see the direction it goes. Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing to look at over time is how well do shorts ad formats convert for advertisers? That'll make a big difference too.
Yeah.
But there was a season when YouTube was trying to figure that out for pre-rolls and just display ads and things. So I expect that that'll be the same here. Like it might not convert as well, or it could be like some of the other platforms just like, oh, it's so new that everyone's tapping on them and it has everyone's attention because you don't have the normal filters to kind of ignore and block that stuff out. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how this continues.
I think the thing that I really love about YouTube itself, though, is how much they evolve. They listen, they watch, and they adapt. Not afraid to make changes when things aren't working. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Well, how about this algorithm thing? So I know a lot of these data scientists at YouTube have looked at channels that do both long form and short form content. What did they come up with? Sam, what have you noticed from what they've, or what have you read that they've come up with from that?
Yeah, well, it seems like they're continuing to just build bridges between short form and long form, where it seems like just more recently, I mean, the last several months, it's been a bit siloed between the two. It's kind of like shorts are over here and then long form or just regular traditional uploads are over here. So I know that they're continuing to try to bridge the gap there where, if you're engaging with this creator's short form videos, you'll get recommended their long form and vice versa. So it's definitely interesting. I'm curious, if you guys have noticed or seen that kind of progressing more recently, or if you've noticed anything else.
I've noticed it's been better. Like, remember when shorts first came out, it threw off the algorithm so much that people started separating into like shorts channels and their long form channels. And to YouTube's credit, they admitted that it threw us off. We were not expecting that type of behavior. And so they took a long time to figure out the difference between lives, shorts, long form, and audio content, those 4 categories, and developing the algorithm to be able to tell the difference between those and not only surface short form because you only engage with short form from this creator. Like now they'll start suggesting long form content from that creator on the same channel. And it also doesn't look like, man, all my videos are only getting like a minute retention. Like what's wrong with that? And the algorithms, like we knew like, well, that's because the videos are only a minute long, but YouTube systems were a little bit thrown off by that. So yeah, I think they've corrected that and are working hard at making YouTube search and discovery systems play nice with all four of those forms of content: on demand, long form, shorts, lives, and podcast content. So, and I think we're starting to see the results of that. It's starting to play nicely together, and you're starting to see growth happening from shorts on a channel and starting to see some of that traffic trickle over onto long form content and vice versa. So it looks like they're going in the right direction.
Well, I think one of the things also just to realize is that content is surfaced completely differently between the two systems. So content, when you think of like your homepage, the viewer has an opportunity to click in. And in the shorts feed, YouTube is literally putting the short in front of the viewer once they've entered into the shorts feed. Yeah. So it's completely different. But, like you were talking about, Sam, with the bridge, YouTube, they said that their data scientists, they looked at a lot of shorts channels, they looked at long form channels, and they looked at creators that did both shorts and long form content. And the evidence showed that channels that did both actually performed better. When it came to, so when it came, I don't have a definitive number, but when it came to subscriber growth and watch time, they performed better. So
perform in views or watch time or engagement or all of the above, or do they share those specifics?
They didn't. I got my data from Todd Sherman, who's the product lead for YouTube Shorts and kind of in charge of all the teams. And
that's a generic on purpose.
Yeah,
thanks, Todd. That's how YouTube works.
It's funny that both Key Mr. Shorts and Mr. Algorithm are both named Todd.
That's true. Todd.
Must be a prerequisite to work there.
The two Todds, YouTube Todds. Yeah. So, I did find it interesting that the channels that dived into both forms of content performed better than channels that kept them separate.
Yeah. Well, even kind of on that note, I think we were having a conversation this morning, Ingrid, about like looking into your analytics at shorts and specifically looking at the new viewers versus returning viewers metric, because, you can obviously jump in and look at how many views your shorts are getting, but it's really interesting to look at those two things. And like, when you look at the new viewers, obviously that's when we're thinking of discoverability and using shorts as kind of a vehicle to go out and reach new people who ordinarily may not have discovered your channel. The new viewers is a great way to look at that. But I think the returning viewers is really interesting when we're kind of talking about like having a barometer for this bridge of like, our viewers watching your shorts, but then returning to watch the other content that you have. It's really interesting to take a look at that. So maybe even practically, if you're experimenting with shorts and you want to jump in and maybe just see, like, are my shorts like bringing people in, but are they also bringing people back who are going to continue watching me? It's pretty interesting to jump in and look at that. And, especially too for channels that maybe don't upload very often, maybe like once a month or once every 2 weeks or so, using shorts as just another opportunity to just get in front of your audience and, be on the forefront of their mind to sprinkle in between those uploads, can be really helpful for kind of building that bridge too.
I feel like a practical step for what you just said, Sam, is to really look at your shorts and your long form content. Are you crafting them for two different audiences, or are you talking to the same audience? Because if you have like this certain thing, and I think of like how-to channels, right? So you have this certain style of doing, your content, and it really resonates with your audience and you're growing and those are working well. And then you just really start to experiment, and experimenting is good. Don't hear that I'm saying experimenting is bad, because I'm not saying that, but you go so far, to the left or to the right from what you traditionally do? Are you crafting your shorts and your long form content for the same audience? You have to still remember that. So keeping that in mind, I think a lot of creators, because I work with a lot of larger channels, and I'm just floored with the fact that they have 1 or 2 shorts, and that's it. That's as far as the experiment went. Period.
Yeah.
So they have videos that have millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views, but they have 1 or 2 shorts.
It's a different muscle to exercise. It's a different, and there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I can make shorts. It's so much easier. I can do that in like a half hour instead of days. And I'm one of those old farts on YouTube. I mean, I've been here since 2006 and I'm like, that is a totally different skill. I can make a 10-minute video way easier than I can make a 60-second video. I think I always think of what Mark Twain said. He's like, hey, I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one instead. That's what it feels like to me. It's like, it takes a lot more effort to make something punchy enough in 60 seconds than 10, but I think that's just me.
I'm curious though now, what holds you back from it?
It's just a different muscle. Like it's nothing holding me back other than.
But you love challenges and learning new things.
Oh, are you going to reverse psychology this on me and tell me I can't do it?
I don't think you can do this, Tim.
Nice, man. Nice.
Those of you who don't know, I have a flaw. I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I'm just saying it is. There's been several times in my life where someone's told me that I can't do something, and I'm just like, watch me. Now I'm gonna do it. My wife uses that to her advantage. Sometimes I catch her. I'm like, no, you're just playing. You actually think I can.
You can't do the dishes.
No, I think you can. I'm like, yes, you do. That doesn't count.
But I feel like this is something that a lot of creators come up against too, is, and I'm not saying this is necessarily you, but people who've been on the platform and have had a lot of success, they immediately go to, this can't be good for my channel. Right?
Oh, yeah, I don't go there. I just more like, I tried it and like, ooh, that's different. I have to do that a lot of times in order to get good at it. Feels
like work?
No, it just feels like a new skill. Just kind of like most things. Well, yeah, I guess that's work, but not work in the sense of like I'm begrudgingly doing this activity. It's just more of like, this is different. I have to think differently. I got to go vertical and not horizontal. Like that alone changes a lot of things.
It does. Yeah. But the thing is, though, a lot of creators, they're also on other platforms and they're already doing vertical content. So, it's not much different than that. And editors can also edit into vertical content from horizontal content. I just feel like a lot of creators need to shift their perspective a little, because the thing that you're missing, and this is what we've seen with clients, it opens up discoverability and tapping into what Sam was saying earlier. New audience, And so if you feel like you're plateauing or you feel like you're kind of stuck, maybe stretch your muscle in a different way. Did that sound right? Or did that sound weird?
No, stretch your muscle in a different way.
Stretch your muscle in a different way. I don't know how that's it. But you get what I'm trying to say here,
I have lots of good visuals. Getting stuck in like old person positions where you can't get up again. I feel very
Sam,
old right now.
You keep saying you're old.
I know. I had jiu-jitsu practice yesterday for 2-3 hours basically, because I roll on the kids and then I work out another guy and then I do the actual practice. I'm feeling it today, so I think that's why
you stretch a new muscle in a different way.
I stretched lots of different muscles I didn't even know I had. And I've been doing this for a while. So I was like, why do you keep going back and doing that? I don't know. It feels good in some demented type of way. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Ingrid.
No.
Nothing about my old problems.
I can't stop seeing this in my head now. I think one of the things that creators are holding themselves back from is the fact that the algorithms do have an opportunity to connect and bridge from short to long and vice versa. You know, the thing, because of the way discoverability works on YouTube, if a creator interacts with shorts in a positive way, that's a good feedback loop for the algorithm, right? That's a signal that they're looking for. So when they're on the homepage the next day, may surface long form content. If that creator interacts with that long form content in the same way, giving a positive signal, now we've got a bridge for that viewer. And then that just gives the algorithms an opportunity to see, well, maybe there's this other person that's like this viewer. Let's test this out. And if it continues to get that positive feedback loop, then that is something that can really, really catapult content.
So you're saying that shorts and longs perform basically the same way, and I would probably throw in podcasts and live streams too.
Exactly.
That YouTube's measuring viewer satisfaction and not engagement in terms of like likes and comments necessarily, but how engaged is this viewer in this content, and using that as a primary factor for driving content to more traffic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's also a lot of myths. You've kind of alluded to some of them, especially with us old farts on YouTube. We get a little nervous. Not like, well, this is a new thing. It's going to have like this certain effect on my channel or that effect on my channel. And then things like shorts happen in the beginning days. And we're like, aha, see, I wasn't just saying this guy was falling. It actually was, and not. Yeah, that's a little drastic, but so sometimes it's for good reason. What are some of the common myths you guys have seen around shorts and content strategy recently, and address them? Tell us if they're true or false.
I feel like one that I've seen is that, like, if you upload a short, because I think it's pretty typical to see you upload a short, it gets a lot of the views pretty quickly, and then after that it slows down pretty drastically. I think a myth is that it's dead after that point. It's not like a traditional video that may be more likely. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening and not watching on YouTube, but it nice. May not have the opportunity to gain traction later down the road. But I mean, we've even been seeing with clients this week that that's very much a myth. It's there's one short that comes to mind in particular that Ingrid and I were looking at. They uploaded it months ago, didn't go super far. It was kind of at the beginning point of when they were starting to experiment with shorts, and it was not totally dead in the water, but it didn't really do a whole lot for a couple of months. And then just this last week just is absolutely exploding, raising pretty much the whole channel with it. I mean, really interesting to see the effect that it's having on their regular form content as well. So I'd say that's a myth, that it's kind of like if it doesn't perform immediately, then it's dead, because it absolutely has the opportunity to take off later.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like any other content, right? And there are so many reasons why content can take off out of nowhere. So another one for me is like the upload cadence of shorts, that you can't do it on the same day as a video. Myth?
In terms of publishing it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how that would matter if you publish shorts and long form on the same day.
Yep. Or even time of day. Does that matter?
I don't think so. Is there any thing to suggest that there is, or is it more of a, like, we just feel like there should be something there, so someone's gonna make something up about it?
I get this question from so many creators. What's the best time of day to upload my short?
Oh, yeah.
How far apart should I space it from my video? I hear this all the time. From YouTube themselves, there's no evidence of it mattering at all when you publish a short.
Have either of you seen any evidence of that mattering?
Mm-mm.
No? Mm-mm. So the people who say it matters, what are they pointing to?
I think a lot of people think do it when your audience is on, right? But YouTube doesn't really push shorts, does it?
Is that another myth?
It's another one.
YouTube's pushing shorts right now, so do shorts.
That gets said a lot.
I think they're pushing all sorts of content all the time. I think people might be more interested in shorts when it was new, but that doesn't mean YouTube's pushing it necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, to your first question though, like, yeah, time of day doesn't matter as far as we've seen or that YouTube has indicated in terms of the long-term performance of the video. If you publish it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday at whatever time, 2 months from now, it won't have mattered. They should be pretty much at the same place. So now it might be a little difference in terms of the like initial momentum, maybe like of when your audience is more engaged, but that I haven't seen that engaged audiences, if they're all online at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, if you posted it at Thursday morning, those people will still get that video suggested to them when they're on YouTube, and they'll just watch it later. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I want to come back to it and see if you two have any thoughts on how the algorithms are connected in terms of shorts algorithms, long form algorithm, audio and live streams. How do they work and play nice together, or don't work and play nice together? What has your experience been there?
I feel like they're similar enough. Like if we're going to break down how the algorithm is going to work to grow your video, like to reach more people, pretty much all the same viewer signals are there. Some of them look a little different. Like when I think of shorts, titles and thumbnails are going to look a little different compared to a regular form video. Ingrid, I think you pointed out a little bit earlier with shorts, if you're in the shorts feed, YouTube is kind of choosing the next video for you and putting it in front of you versus, if you imagine the homepage, you're actively deciding to click in to a video or not. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but I would imagine with a short, the opening hook is probably that much more important compared to regular form video, where it's also very important. But if most of your traffic is coming from the shorts feed and you're trying to capture their attention immediately, I would imagine the longer you take to do that in the short, the worse results you'll have compared to a long form video.
Yeah, it's a great point. You only have 60 seconds, and technically we always recommend to people no longer than 58, because we've seen YouTube put a second plus on a short, and the minute it's past a minute, it's no longer a short. So I always recommend under 58 seconds.
It's a long video, I tell you.
And
61 seconds. Oh my goodness.
That's a long, if I ever saw one.
I can't manage a 61 second video.
I completely lost my train of thought there. I can't get
you were saying that make the videos 59 seconds, because sometimes when you upload it,
yes.
YouTube counts it differently and it ends up being,
Yeah. So when you're taking into consideration how short your short is, no pun intended.
No, this pun
the first
intended.
second, a little bit. The first second,
be honest,
really, really matters. People swipe away so fast from content. So if you don't grab them with something that is visual or engaging or something I'm hearing, something that really just is intriguing, sounds familiar, right? It's the same principles. If you don't grab me right away from the beginning, then I've just moved on. So when you're thinking about short strategy, the first seconds are that much more crucial than even video, And I feel like the way that people are interacting with shorts has also affected long form content as well, right? You guys all have kind of felt that.
Keep going. How so?
Well, I mean, in the hook, we used to, I think, be able to get away with a lot more in the past, but over the last year or two, I've noticed that you just have such a massive drop off if creators take too long. So it's like for me with my clients, I shorten that window.
I feel like that was true before shorts, though. I feel like before shorts came along, that was the trend where the title and thumbnail was more the hook, and the opening seconds was like dropped you right into the story or the content. And saying anything that was already said and communicated in the title thumbnail created abandonment because people are like, yeah, I know, get on with it, right? So I don't know. I see how that might maybe become more true because of shorts.
But I don't feel it was necessarily just shorts, though. I think TikTok that was been around longer than shorts, as well as short form video over on Instagram.
That could be true.
That I feel was the catalyst for that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Something I'm curious about too when it comes to shorts and regular form content is like when you watch a short, it's obviously vertical format. I mean, it's most of them are shot on your phone. I'm not speaking across the board, but a lot of them are like not super high production value. It's just kind of like more raw in the moment, shot with your phone. And those, from what we've seen, tend to perform a lot better compared to maybe just repurposed content that was just kind of snipped from your existing, maybe more high production value type of content. So I'm kind of curious if the direction that we're going, since those are already, from what we see with the clients we work with, those shorts tend to perform better. I'm curious if that will kind of bleed into longer form content as well, as far as like a more like real, relatable sort of a thing, you know, lower production value, just being able to connect with your, connect with the creator and the viewer a bit better that way with the long form content. Curious if we're kind of going that direction.
I feel, though, when you say like non-produced, what kind of shorts are you talking about? Like shorter or longer shorts?
I mean, like, so when I say production value, I'm imagining like the really high quality camera, the nice backdrop, the like super cinematic, you know, it's not like shaky cam or anything like that. I'm not so much talking length, but more that sort of thing. First, you can tell when it's shot on a phone, and it's kind of like, you know, it's maybe it comes down to storytelling. It's kind of the like, hey, you're coming with me and we're doing this thing today. It just feels much more like you're in the moment with the creator.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I feel like there's a trend for shorts, though, when you look at like length of shorts, and this is something that we always encourage creators to do too, is to experiment, you know, with different lengths of short. What does a 20-second short look like for you? What does a 40-second short look like for you? And what does, you know, like almost the full minute look like for you? Shorts that are more on the longer side, those have a different feel than, say, like your 15-second hit, which is very much the person picking up the camera and doing something quick and very, you know, non-produced. But like the more minute, and I think of some channels, you know, where they do create a lot of long form content, they have some of the more longer shorts and they are more produced, but they have several that have gone so far, but they really know their audience.
Yeah.
For that. And that's telling a story with a beginning, middle, end. Whereas the quick little hit may not necessarily go that deep.
Yeah. I noticed the ones that grab my attention are like the shorts that you can see are just something's heading for destruction. You know? It's that cruise ship that's about to slam into the dock, or it's that car that's about to slide down a mudslide, or, you know, something. It's just someone's on a rope swing and you know, you can see it coming and you can't look away. I'm a sucker for those. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm revealing all sorts of personal information in this episode.
I'm like, we're learning a lot about you, Tim.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of how the algorithms are connected, they're both basically going after the same thing, which is looking how viewers behave and respond to the content, and then showing them more if they engage well, and even showing other pieces of content in different formats from the channel. If that viewer engages with shorts from that channel pretty well, then like, okay, here's long form content. Hey, they're live now. You might want to engage with them here, things like that. So that's really kind of what it all comes down to. Looking for the same things. How about in terms of content strategy between long form and short form content? Can you kind of give us a quick overview of what that kind of strategy would look like, Ingrid, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about a couple ideas earlier, really testing new ideas out. I think the one thing, especially for creators that have been on the platform, that I've recognized is the freedom to maybe do some things that, you're more willing to fail, I think, with larger channels on a short than spending months of creating long form content. It feels like the barrier to entry for a short too is much simpler. I like that you can test new ideas out there. You can also widen your audience a little bit, breathe a little bit more life into your audience. Like I said earlier, if you feel like you're plateauing, or you feel like maybe there are some wider topics you want to shoot for, but yet they don't quite make a video, but they may be a great story for a 60-second short or 58-second short. I don't know, Sam, you have some others?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I know we've mentioned a couple times, like maybe almost like it deterring someone from using pre-existing content and repurposing it as a short. I think it's okay. It's totally okay to do that. Those can perform well. It's, we're definitely not saying that you shouldn't do that. I think that's another very easy lift. If you already have a very large library of content, and maybe there's a 10-minute video of yours, you could potentially have a handful of shorts you could extract from that and post it as a short. You can totally do that. But typically we do see the more like original shorts that you create to be a short tend to perform better. But yeah, I think typically if I'm thinking of a content strategy, I think of shorts just as kind of an untapped vein resource for discoverability and just reaching new people. Like I even think as a creator, if you're trying to reach an audience who's watching YouTube videos, there's probably an audience who only consumes shorts. Maybe they don't even watch regular form videos. It's like this whole untapped vein over here of, oh yeah, we could reach people over here who may not even otherwise have an opportunity to see my channel and to interact with me. So yeah, I definitely think of it that way.
There's something that you were talking about also, when you're talking about taking snippets of older content, you can remix your own content. It's actually something, if you do it specifically for your own channel, YouTube will put a little connector at the bottom back to the video.
The original video?
The original video. Yeah. And I'm very curious to see what YouTube does long term, because they're continually working on building that bridge between the two. So that's, I think, a very exciting thing. Also, like, maybe challenge yourself. If you really love storytelling, which we encourage you to tell stories in your content, long or short. But maybe, and like Tim is so good at doing it in long form content, maybe you would enjoy the creative constraints of telling it in a minute as a challenge. I don't know if you can do it.
I actually would. I don't know if it's a high enough priority for me right now, but I do think I would enjoy.
You heard it here.
Enjoy doing it. Yeah, and I also have good boundaries, and I can say no. It does make it harder to say no, but I can still do it.
You can't say no.
You can't say no. That's me. That's actually part of how video creators got started. I don't know if people know that story. Yeah. It was I lost my job, and this was my last day at at that gig, and I said, "Yeah, I know it's my last day, but you're just hiring some salespeople. Could I, take one of those jobs?" And they're like, "No, Tim, you're not a salesman. You'll never be good at sales." I was like, "I know. All right." So I started Video Creators and quickly found that you don't have a business if you don't have sales. So I started to learn how to do sales, and then about a year and a half later, I was like, "Hey, you remember when you told me this?" Well, we're doing fine now. I think it was doing 6 figures at that point, and it was just me and my wife. That was pretty good for us. I'd never made that much before, and then I told him the story, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "Tell me what else I can't do." And then he told me what else I can't do. Like, you'll never be able to grow a team, scale this beyond yourself. I'm like, oh man, that was hard. And so he's a business consultant by trade, and so that I got free business consulting from him over the years. But like, I did that. Now tell me what else I can't do. It's kind of like an ongoing joke now between us, but part of what got us here. So anyway.
I love it how
story
you did
out of nowhere for no reason.
I love it how you did that literally in 1 minute.
Oh, were you watching?
I was watching the clock.
Wow. People like, I want the last minute of my life back. Every week, we like to leave you with a power tip, something practical you can use on your channel in order to grow and take it to the next level this week. Ingrid, what do you got for us this week for our power tip?
Well, YouTube just rolled out new analytics for shorts, which is amazing.
As of like 2 days ago from this recording.
I know, which is exciting. And the entire team got really, really excited about this because the two new analytics are, the reason they're using, the two new analytics are shown in feed and percent viewed versus swiped away. The goal is really to help creators better understand their content's performance in the actual shorts feed. And the reason that we like this as strategists is we can really now identify whether or not a piece of content is connecting. And that's valuable information. And hey, any information that YouTube wants to give me like that, I will take any day.
And what do you do with that information? Like, if people are connecting, you can see like, hey, this is connecting more. Do you double down on that type of content, or what's the practical step from that?
Yeah, I think personally you can see, hey, I thought this was going to be a great short, but people are just swiping away from this, and then maybe you can actually look, what is it that I'm doing right away, maybe to cause that action. Yeah. Or, not cause that trigger or that emotional connection where somebody wants to give me 58 seconds of their life.
Yeah. I imagine this probably would help to deciding what length of content might be good too. When it comes to the percent viewed metric here, is it better for me to do 50-second shorts, or do I always perform better with 25-second shorts? You could probably gather some good info there too.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was thinking. It's more about giving more data to look for patterns. And I think it's pretty hard to look at one or two pieces of content, look at the data, only those two, and make some big sweeping decisions about your content strategy. I think it really needs to be what is consistently true across various different pieces of content, and looking for the underlying principle that is being carried true in each of those instances. So anything additional we get for pattern recognition like this is helpful. If you guys want to hear more about what's happening with shorts and hear it from the source of YouTube themselves, Todd Sherman, there's links down in the show notes below this episode, and you can go check it out. And also remember, if you have a question or follow up to something like this, go to speakpipe.com/video creators. I almost said that shorts. That's not right. Speakpipe.com/video creators. Leave your questions, your thoughts, your reactions, and we'll feature them in an upcoming episode. Thank you for being a part of this awesome community, and we'll see you again next week for another Video Creators Podcast episode. See you then. Bye.